Cool FAB Racing is the junior partner series to BSB, and if you follow BSB, you'll know this gentleman alongside me, Brad Ray. Brad, it's been a fantastic year for you at BSB, of course. You've had some fantastic results this year, but it all started for you here at FAB Racing. It's now Cool FAB Racing, of course, but tell us what you remember about your early years.
Well, it all started when I was about 4 or 5 years old. I first started with Roger when I was 6 because that was the minimum age you could start racing at, and yeah, from there onwards I've been doing mini motors. I started on the 4.2s, junior class, and then up to the production class, and then from there on I went on to the mini GP 50s and then mini GP 70s as well. Won both the mini GP and 70 championship and the mini motor championship as well, and then moved on to the mini GP 80cc Metro kit in the Spanish championship, and then all from there onwards moved up in the categories up to BSB now.
And you've had lots of varied interest in your career, different classes you've been doing. What's your plans now moving forward for next year and beyond?
For next year, we're not 100% certain yet. We've got a few things on the table, but we're not 100%. We've got to find the right route that's gonna be the best for my career in racing, and yeah, we'll see what's happening. But we've got a few good opportunities for next year, definitely.
Okay, well, good luck.
Thank you very much.
AC40 rookies up first. Johnny Garnes and Mason Foster on the front row, with Sullivan Mounsey and Charlie Tilley on the second. From championship leader Alexander Merchant and Carl Payne, Jack Kirsch, Cameron Sewell, Harrison Crosby and Orlando Phillips rounding out the top 10, ahead of Smith and Woodcock. Luca Hopkins and Lucas Brown on the 7th. Stuart Campbell and Saffron Watley are there on the 8th row as well. Plenty of action all the way through this field. It'll be interesting to see if anybody can keep up with the lightning bolt that is Johnny Garnes around Mallory Park. He's been very strong in the latter stage of the season, in particular, Johnny Garnes. He's really finding his feet, and there's a lot of people already touting him as a potential championship winner next season. But this is all about Alexander Merchant from the 3rd row of the grid. He needs to make a good start straight away here to give himself a good chance in the championship, and he's made a howler. He is tumbling down the field as Johnny Garnes makes an absolute screamer, and look, Merchant has already dropped back about 4 or 5 places.
Make that 5 places, I think, Jake, down to 9th place as we pick out the championship leader. Johnny Garnes has made his typical great start. He'll be looking for, I think this would be 11 wins out of the last 12 races. He's had 1 DNF for the one he didn't win, as Mason Foster in 2nd, Charlie Tilley 3rd, Sullivan Mounsey having a good run there in 4th, coming through the bus stop and down through Devil's Elbow.
We're on the shorter circuit, so they'll take a hairpin right here. Johnny Garnes a long way out in front of the field. They take a hairpin right, and that leads them back onto the Lake S's of the original circuit, and that completes the lap. But look at the lead Garnes has already got on Mason Foster, with Mounsey, Tilley and the rest of the field all charging forward to try and close up. Mason Foster has got a lot of pressure, though. That looks to me like Sullivan Mounsey giving him a little bit of a hassle. 4th position Mounsey as he tries to close up on Tilley. But Charlie Tilley looking good there in 3rd position.
5th place, Orlando Phillips on the bright orange machine. Very easy to pick out. That's Charlie Tilley. That's his information anyway. He started P4 up to 3rd.
Yeah, and Sullivan Mounsey almost managed to get past him into P3 as they went into the bus stop out of Shaw's hairpin, down through Devil's Elbow and into that very tight right-hand hairpin. It's a 180-degree hairpin. They've got to get the exit just so to get themselves back onto the... they're on the slip road now, basically what is usually the pit lane entry for the main part of the racetrack, and then they come back down out of the Lake S's, down the straight as well. Sadly, we've lost Jamie Woodcock, though. Only 1 lap completed for Jamie. Problems with the bike, we gather, so his race is run. Meanwhile, that's Sullivan Mounsey once again charging forward to try and take on Charlie Tilley in the hairpin. He goes out wide, but he can get good acceleration there on the damper part of the circuit. He might just get there, not quite this time, but he's definitely giving Tilley something to think about.
Sullivan Mounsey sporting the Tyco BMW Team decals on his bike. He will be riding for Tyco BMW next season. Not got the suits yet, but some of the bikes you'll notice are in the liveries. You can just see Jamie Woodcock off to the right of the picture there, retiring from the race. Sullivan Mounsey on the 44, and the orange machine, it's Orlando Phillips. And then comes the championship leader, Alexander Merchant, as they come up this hill again. It's a big hill for these small bikes, Jake.
Yeah, it really is, and they're actually lapping Josh Kirsch at the moment, so they managed to split the Merchant, goes to the right, as Phillips goes to the left. That was a very scary moment for Josh Kirsch, but look at that. As a result of that, we've now got Phillips trying to make a move, And Jack Kirsch is trying to close up on this battle for second position as well. It could be a 6-bike chase. Johnny Garnes way out in front. Here's Foster. Then it is Tilley in front of Mounsey. And then we've got a trio behind them battling for 5th position. That's Orlando Phillips in front of Alexander Merchant and Jack Kirsch. Behind them, Cameron Sewell and Kyle Payne are scrapping away. And that could go either way. Meanwhile, Foster is having to be a little bit tentative as they come back out of the Lake Esses and back onto the main straight here of the shorter circuit. Down to Shaw's hairpin again. Foster having to be a little bit tentative. The bike still getting up to temperature. He doesn't have the ability at the moment to get away from Tilley and Mounsey. He's defending very well, but these two really giving him some pressure. And it looks to me as though Tilley might make the move on Mounsey this time. They're side by side. Has he got the ability to stay with him on the inside? Yes, he does. Cracking move there from Sullivan Mounsey. He finally manages to get that move done on Tilley. That was brave.
Yeah, great move there coming into the bus stop, and he's going back for it. Has he got it done?
I think he has. No, not quite. Not quite managing to get that through. Really close indeed between those two, and it definitely looks as though they're both going to be charging after Foster a little bit more. Foster is really going to have his work cut out here to hang on to second position with these two feisty riders charging back. But look, coming out of the Lake Esses, he's going to be able to overtake back into third position down to the Shaw's hairpin, unless round the outside Mounsey can hold on. Absolutely cracking riding. They take on the back marker, and that's definitely going to give them a little bit more speed. Ben Smith, of course, that is the early championship leader, running around towards the tail end. Charlie being lapped there by Johnny Garnes.
Not sure what's happened with Ben Smith. He's clearly not happy with the bike. He was the championship leader earlier in the season, and he has the ignominy of being lapped by the race leader in this one, Johnny Garnes. He'll be moving up to the Minimoto Pro class next season, no doubt, and he will be a championship contender. But Ben Smith there, gotta feel sorry for him. He's had a miserable latter end of the season.
Right, this battle for third position is heightening up. Here comes Tilley back to the inside of Mounsey. Mounsey holds it round the outside. He is not going to give up this third position, especially when he's not far away from having a go at Foster. He wants to get closer to him. There's Garnes leading. Ben Smith, then we look back. There is Foster. Now, are we going to get to see a bit of a slice up the inside here from Tilley? No, Tilley's going to try and go the long way round on Mounsey. Cuts across him. Oh, no, Tilley was on the inside, and Mounsey cuts right round the outside. Tilley has to put a foot down on the ground to stop the bike from falling.
Yeah, he was up the inside and then had to switch to the outside, and that stopped his momentum, and he's lost a good 15 to 20 bike lengths.
As Taylor Stewart Campbell just putting a lap on Josh Kirsch there in the latter stages of the race. Now we're on the last lap, and look at the lead Johnny Garnes has over the rest of the field. That is Ben Smith. We know he's a lap down. Then Foster. Sullivan Mounsey giving him a mass of pressure, and he might snatch second place off him before the line at this rate. Charlie Tilley's got to be careful. Orlando Phillips is close enough to snatch that place off him. Well, he was, then through the bus stop. Tilley got away, but this man's going to win the race, Johnny Garnes, but he's not going to win the championship. That man is in 6th position, Alexander Merchant, but Johnny Garnes definitely finishing on a high with an amazing run of victories. The checkered flag flies, and it's another one on the trophy cabinet for Johnny Garnes at a canter from Mason Foster and Sullivan Mounsey, ahead of Charlie Tilley, Orlando Phillips, and importantly in 6th place, it's Alexander Merchant, the AC40 Rookies Champion for 2016. He did what he needed to. He didn't get flustered. That's Payne having finally pipped Cameron Sewell to 7th place behind, but it's the championship win for Alexander Merchant. Johnny Garnes wins at a canter though from Foster in 2nd, Mounsey, Tilley and Phillips round out the top 5, but Johnny Garnes is on top of the pack.
Johnny, I make that 10 out of the last 11 races you've won this season at the back end of the season. If you'd have had that sort of start to the season, I guess you'd have been the champion there this year. But just talk us through the race today. Tricky conditions, wasn't it?
Yeah, tricky track conditions, but I still enjoyed it, and the track was really nice and smooth.
And what about next year? What class are you going to be racing in next year?
Pros.
And what a pro he'll turn out to be. 2nd in the 2016 points, Johnny Garnes, but he couldn't beat Alexander Merchant, who finishes on 391.5. Cameron Sewell in 3rd from Charlie Tilley and Mason Foster. A great result in AC40 Rookies in 2016. Coming up next, it's the season finale for the AC40 Pro class here at Mallory Park. Don't go away.